God bless everybody. Today's title is God the Father Has Feelings, the People of Israel, and Moses. Okay, so we're going to be in the book of Exodus today. From the time of Genesis to Exodus, the people of Israel were enslaved for 400 years. In Genesis 15:13, God tells Abram that the people of Israel will be enslaved for that amount of time because they will be disobedient to him, and that was their cause. That was the reward for it. So in Genesis 15:13 it says, "Then he said to Abram, know certainly that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and will serve them, and they will afflict them for 400 years. And then going into 14, it says, also the nation whom they serve I will judge after, and they shall come out with great possessions. Alright, so he's telling them that they're going to be afflicted for 400 years. That's part of the plan. But he would deliver them. Alright, so now we go on to Exodus chapter 1, verse 7 through 26. Verse 7. But the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there rose a king over Egypt who did not know Joseph, and he said to his people, look, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply. And it happened in the event of war that they also join our enemies and fight against us, and so go up out of the land. Therefore they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were in dread of the children of Israel. So the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and they were made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and in mortar and brick, and all manner of service in the field. All the service in which they made them serve was with rigor. Then the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of whom the name one of Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. And he said, when you do the duties of a midwife for the Hebrew women and see them on their birth stool, if it is a son, then you shall kill him. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the male children. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, why have you done this thing and saved the male children alive? And the midwives said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women, for they are lively and give birth before midwives come to them. Therefore God dwelt with the midwives, and the people, therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew mighty. And so it was because the midwives feared God that he provided households for them. So the Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. So here we are. The king of Egypt is murdering every male child that is born. tells the midwives, if a Hebrew woman gives birth to a son, you are to kill it. Kind of like, it's not kind of, but it is a form of what we deal with every day, called abortion. Except an abortion, there is not waiting on the gender, they're just taking the baby's life. But it's for another subject. The king of Egypt orders the midwives to kill the sons, but the midwives refuse to do so because they fear God, and God has dealt with them, and He provided a household for them. So here is God knows that the king of Egypt is going against him, but there are people in Egypt that fear him out of love, which is the midwives, the people of Israel. So he rewards them by providing households for them. So here we see God's love. Again, God can wipe out Egypt in a heartbeat if He wanted to, but because they're His people, the people of Israel, are enslaved for 400 years. Those are his people, and they got the midwives who fear Him but love Him. He doesn't take out Israel. Doesn't take out Egypt. Excuse me. So we're gonna move on into chapter 2, which is the birth of Moses. And I'm gonna read chapter 2, starting at verse 1. And a man of the house of Levi went and took as a wife a daughter of Levi. So the woman conceived and bore a son. When she saw that he was a beautiful child, she hid him 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she took an ark of brushwood for him and endowed it with asphalt and pitch, put the child in it, and laid it in the reeds by the river banks. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. Then the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, and her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she said to her maid to get it. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then the sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, so that they may nurse the child for you?" And the Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the maiden went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him. And the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. So she called his name Moses, saying, "Because I drew him out of the water." So this is the birth of Moses. And as we all know, God uses Moses to deliver His people. So this is the beginning stages of delivering them out of Egypt. Moses is born. And then we get further on in the next video. We'll talk about Moses some more. So Moses is going to be the one that God uses to deliver his people out of Egypt. That's it for now. God bless you. Love you guys. I hope you're enjoying this as I am enjoying this. I'm being blessed as I'm doing it also. Because the more I do this, the more I'm also learning and also spending time with the Father in heaven. So it is a blessing for me to do it. I hope it is a blessing for you guys to go through it with me. So again, if you like this content or what the future content is going to bring, just hit the subscribe, hit the like buttons, hit the notifications. For right now, everything is pre-recorded and everything has a pre-recorded date and time. Right now, this is what's best for me. So that's it. God bless you. I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one.